Hey there, fight fans. In today's video, in the heavyweight division of the UFC, Sergei Pavlovich has become a serious threat. The Russian is sure that he did enough in order to get a title chance. Sergei turned to the leadership of the UFC saying, "I need my belt. Where is my belt?" Pavlovich has made it clear that he no longer intends to wait and accept challenges from other opponents. Also, later on in the video, a participant in a street brawl left unconscious after a clash with Nate Diaz. Does not understand what provoked the aggression from the former UFC fighter, but is going to take revenge on him at the first opportunity. So let's jump right in. As you already know, Sergei Pavlovich recently knocked out Curtis Blaydes, scoring his 6th win in a row and finishing his opponent in the first round every time. After the fight with Blaydes, Sergei turned to the leadership of the UFC saying, "I need my belt. Where is my belt?" Pavlovich has made it clear that he no longer intends to wait and accept challenges from other opponents. Now, Pavlovich, all attention is focused on a possible fight with Jonah Jones and winning the title. However, as you know, Jones is already scheduled to fight Stipe Miocic. However, Pavlovich is ready to step in as the backup fighter, as he did earlier in another title fight. If Miocic pulls out due to health issues, Pavlovich will gladly take his place. And this is definitely quite possible. Therefore, if this fight were to take place someday, it will be a big event. First of all, why is this fight so interesting for the fans? Well, because fans call Pavlovich a white Ngannou, and many fans are sure that he is the only heavyweight at the moment who can stop the legendary Jones.
That's the boy.
Yeah.
Sergei Pavlovich, that motherfucker. That's the Russian Fedor. I mean, the Russian Francis, rather. He, comes out, guns blazing on people, just like Francis used to. That bomb.
Sergei is only 30 years old, and right now he has gained unprecedented momentum, rolling all of his opponents in the heavyweight division down into the canvas. So far, no one, except for Alistair Overeem, who inflicted his only defeat in his career, has lasted even 5 full minutes with him. Be that as it may, it is a fact that Sergei is now at his peak. But don't forget that Jonah Jones is also very dangerous. In terms of combat arsenal, Jones is a very versatile and non-standard fighter. He always prepares well tactically because he is good at everything. Distance control, striking, wrestling, clinches, every position is worked out by him to the smallest detail. But Sergei is brilliant in pressing the fight. He instantly joins, sets the pace, and boasts a devastating ground and pound. But the technique of work on the ground floor, it's kind of lacking. He does not have the best takedown defense, he does lack a skill base for defending from the back, and he has a linear game plan for all of his fights, making him a very vulnerable target, especially for high-class wrestlers. But moving on to a direct comparison of skills, a parallel can be drawn between athletes and striking technique. Both are dangerous, each have their own style, but it is Jones who has a wider technical reserve. Jones' strength is that he is able to change game plan and start immediate implementing it right in the course of the fight. In clinches, the chances of success will be approximately equal, but on the ground, well, it can be safely given to Jones. Pavlovich has a large limb length, 213 centimeters, while Jones has 215 centimeters. So this will be the first opponent of Pavlovich's whose arm length is similar to his. But let's be honest, Sergei, now he is a talented and strong guy, but his name is unlikely to be much motivation for Jones. As well as the names of other fighters from the top 5 heavyweight division. He just ran out of motivation. He killed everyone in the light heavyweight division, winning even those cases where he practically didn't even train. Only the dream of a heavyweight title fight could have brought Jones back to the octagon. And if he beats Miocic, why would he want to fight Pavlovich? So we're kind of unlikely to see this fight. But Sergei's manager has announced the date of a possible fight for the UFC title, saying, "Sergei will fight for the championship title before the end of the year. I am absolutely convinced of this. There are no other contenders. He has already proven his right to the title. Francis Ngannou was lucky that he left the UFC. Sergei would debunk his glory. Sergei has a chance to defeat absolutely any fighter. He doesn't care if it's Jonah Jones or King Kong." But if this fight were to ever happen, what is your prediction? Who do you think would win? Let us know down in the comments. Now, a participant in a street brawl who was left unconscious after clashing with Nate Diaz doesn't understand what provoked the aggression from the former UFC fighter, but says he's going to take revenge on him at the first opportunity. Rodney Peterson, who became famous on social media for his resemblance to popular blogger Logan Paul, claims to have crushed his head in a fall, showing the injury in a video posted. saying, "I have no idea what I did to Nate Diaz, but here's what I'll say. I'll knock him out the next time I see him. You took me by surprise, man. You thought I was Logan? What nonsense." Now, Dana White reacts to the street fight involving Nate Diaz, saying, "This guy's head bounced off like a goddamn basketball. He's probably going to sue Nate, the fuck," UFC President Dana White stated after seeing the video of the fight. 2 weeks earlier, it was officially announced that Nate Diaz would face Logan Paul's brother Jake Paul in a boxing match on August 5th in Dallas, Texas. According to the regulations, the fight will take place within the weight category of 185 pounds and will be designed for 8 rounds. The New Orleans Police Department has issued an arrest warrant for former UFC fighter Nate Diaz on suspicion of second-degree battery. About 2:10 a.m. on April 22nd, the police received a report of a major skirmish on Bourbon Street, Brody explained. The arrived officers managed to disperse the crowd. An unconscious white man was found at the scene. After a while, he came to his senses. The officers noticed that he was bleeding from the back of his head and called an ambulance. At the moment, Nate Diaz is not in custody, but if found guilty, under the laws of the state of Louisiana, he faces up to 8 years in prison.
We know Nate Diaz, he's gangster, he's from the every time he's going somewhere these days, he's getting into these kind of altercations. It must be exhausting. The man's almost 40 years old, for crying out loud, but still always getting into shit.
So that is all for today. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel because it is very important to us, and thank you all in advance.